Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. It is once again time for a shop tour. It is Thursday, June 23rd, and I have a million things going on in the shop. It always seems like when you get into the bulk of race season, you get a lot more calls, you get a lot more demand, a lot more stuff going on. So let's do a shop tour so you can see what I got going on. All sorts of weird little things. This is just a regular Miata transmission for George Walker's GT3 car. One thing that I noticed is he's running this Redline shockproof. You can always tell by the color of the oil. I'm okay with running that stuff in a dog ring transmission. I don't think it works real well with synchronizers. I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest you use a 7590 that has an additive package for brass synchronizers. I obviously use AMSOIL, it's what's called MTG. Redline does have a transmission fluid as well. I think it's called MT90, which has that additive for brass synchronizers, so keep that in mind. So here's something you're not going to see every day in the shop. An old Toyota Sienna. This guy is actually an old customer of mine that I've been working on his street cars forever, since I used to work on a lot more street cars, and he wanted me to do a water pump on the Sienna. If you ever get talked into doing a water pump on a Toyota Sienna, make sure you look at the YouTube video before. I did not. It's quite the job, actually. So I'm a couple hours in, just getting the water pump back on there, and get this thing done today. So the Cadillac is back from Elkhart Lake, and actually a very successful weekend. He ran every single session, every minute of every single session. I don't know how many laps he did, but it seemed like it was 12 laps every time he went out. So finished both races, everything was great. So he's wanting to go out to High Plains, which is 4th of July weekend. So we are on a quick turnaround here to get the car re-prepped and rechecked over, have a little bit of a checklist that we're going through. Brake rotors shot, brake pads were shot. In a Elkhart Lake in a GT1 car, you're going about 180 miles an hour 3 times a lap, and blowing that down is a lot of pressure on the brakes. So we've got new brakes on the car. You can see we've got the bodywork off here, and the rear end is out, and I'll show you why that is. Rear brakes look good, no real problems there, but we did have a little bit of a diff leak. Now this is the differential that's been in this car since we've had it, and this front plate cover is cracked here. So this is going to be your seal carrier and the front of where the bearing is. So something was causing this. Now that may be old damage, because I did have a bit of a seep on this diff, but we do have a new one to put in, so we're going to get that done, get it back in, and we should be looking good. But all in all, the car came through really well. So one of the things you see a lot in these cars with these huge tires is a lot of rubber comes off of these tires, and it gets picked up and thrown into the nose of these cars. So got a lot of that to clean up, and but all in all, very good weekend at Elkhart Lake for him. So I don't really think that Eric's got anything done over the last week, but he does have his, like I was saying last week, his transmission's apart. He's looking for some gears. Another engine on my list to work on before the runoffs, but I did get the little green car finished and on the dyno, and actually did really well. So engine compartment's looking really good, really happy about that. So this is basically, you know, a stock cams, a little over 10-to-1 compression, 1.6 power steering, air conditioning, all of it. And she made 125.44 horsepower and 109.39 foot-pounds. So not too bad for a little 1.6 stock cammed engine. Really happy with that. I've had some of these old 1.6s, just to give you an idea. A stock 1.6 from Mazda on this dyno makes about 85 horsepower. So to go from 85 to 125, I think he's gonna notice a big difference here. So just need to clean the car up, and we're gonna be looking really good there. So this time of year, it's really hot in the dyno bay, so I like to keep my doors closed, keep the air conditioning in here where it's nice. BMW update. Kind of looks like a disaster. That's because I'm working on pulling everything apart. So rear subframe, I mean, everything's really dirty too. So got to get all these old arms cleaned up and glass beaded. Should have that done by this weekend. Pulling everything apart and trying to figure out exactly what's going on and getting the arms prepped. So that's basically what I'm doing over the last few weeks and over the next few weeks, just trying to get all of this figured out and back together. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle when it comes to taking it apart and putting it back together, but the rest of the car should be good. So we're looking pretty good there. But as you can see, lots going on. I guess we kind of skipped Steven's chassis, didn't we? You can see the seat pan now is welded in. You can't really see it from here, but you can see it from up top. So the floor drop is all welded in, looking good. Just need to put in the brace underneath. So we're just kind of chipping away at this. And as we got some time, Joe's been doing some good welding on the chassis, and obviously this time of year this is not super high priority, but I do like to chip away at it a little at a time. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. Lots going on, and of course in the meantime I've got parts and pieces ordered, parts and pieces coming in, all these engines still to take apart for the runoffs. So a little chaotic this time of year, but that's okay. So it's still hot outside, which is kind of what we expect this time of year, but you just got to keep pushing forward. Appreciate you guys watching as always. Please, if you have any comments or questions or whatever, we have been getting quite a few of those about some of the different videos over the last few weeks. I appreciate all of that, and hope you guys are keeping cool. And if you're going out on vacation or whatever, make sure you drive safe. I know a lot of people take their kids out on vacation in the summertime, so make sure you're driving safe, traveling across the country or whatever you're doing. I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.